Welcome to the Skyline Detailers Club. I'm Canadian Moose, and this is Tiny Builds. Moose, what the heck is Tiny Builds? So Tiny Builds is a series I have been wanting to do on the channel for a while, with our new project Grand Durand in Alberta encouraging me to explore the lesser known and less popular towns and cities of Canada, especially Canada's Midwest. I decided to create a side project for this channel where we recreate tiny builds as accurately to the real life inspiration as we can be with the road layouts, all inside one episode. There may be some builds that receive a part 2 depending on their size, and I will share some of the history about the places we are focusing on. The builds themselves will of course take artistic freedom when it comes to placing buildings, as City Skylines 2 lacks the amazing catalog of assets that City Skylines 1 has, but the look and feel will be true to the location. The goal of the Tiny Builds project is to help shed light and share the history of the forgotten towns of Canada, and I would also like to include some interview commentary with some of the town planners and Indigenous peoples whose land the towns reside on. The format of these videos will be a history segment followed by a typical time-lapse commentary build inspired by the likes of Prez, Strict Toaster, Fluxtrans, and $2.20. I have had so much fun planning and researching for this project, and I hope you all enjoy this new side series. So, without further ado, this is Piapot, Saskatchewan. The town of Piapot, Saskatchewan is a hamlet in the rural municipality of Piapot number 110. The rural municipality of Piapot consists of Karna, Crane Lake, Cross, Edgell, Kelsey Springs, Leghorn, Piapot, Sidewood, and Skull Creek, with a total municipal population of 302 as of 2016. An elected municipal council and an appointed administrator govern the entire regional municipality, and they meet on the second Wednesday of every month, with the RM's office being located in today's tiny build, Piapot. The 2021 population census reports a population of Piapot at 40, which is down 10 from the 2016 Statistics Canada census. The hamlet of Piapot originated in the 1880s as a siding on the Canadian Pacific Railway. In 2006, both the hotel and saloon shut down, but were reopened in 2008. Aside from the hotel, a saloon, and a gift shop, the only other business open to the public is the local post office, which was established on January 1st, 1911. This looks to be the current Piapot Fire Hall on Thompson Street, but I was unable to confirm if it is still active. The building itself appears to be in decent condition and still active. This was the Piapot Public School, which was constructed in 1912 as a 2-room brick school, and it had its first teacher in 1914. Later, 2 more rooms would be added. The Piapot Public School building was converted to a recording studio and music retreat, but in 2019 it sadly closed its doors after a lengthy legal dispute. Piapot used to have 3 beautiful grain elevators. I was unable to find when the last one was removed, and this photo from May 1989 is the most recent shot I can find, thanks to grainelevators.ca, a site dedicated to documenting the grain elevators of Canada. Piapot sits just south of the Trans-Canada Highway, Canada's longest national road, extending east to west across the country from Victoria, British Columbia to St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador, passing through all 10 provinces. The closest town to Piapot is Maple Creek, Saskatchewan to the west, and the closest major Saskatchewan city is Swift Current, which is about a 1 hour and 4-minute drive to the east. Here are some notable people from Piapot. Lyle Sanderson, a legendary track and field coach for U of S in Saskatoon for 39 years. He was 10 times Husky Coach of the Year and coached Canadian athletes for the Olympics. Bruce Bowie.
In case you haven't noticed yet, school is out. Yeah! That's right. It's another fun-filled summer, and it's yours to enjoy from the gang at Chad, because we're going to turn this summer into Happy Day.
A radio legend for 630 CHED Edmonton as the morning host. He spent 47 years on air and won awards from the broadcasting world. He also conducted the first Canadian peacekeeper radio show, Bosnia. When entering the town of Piapot, you are greeted by the town sign and monument. Let's talk about what the monument stands for. The monument reads, Piapot in 1883. The famous Cree chief Piapot came into conflict with the CPR in this vicinity. He and his people camped in the middle of the projected right-of-way and refused to move. Construction was held up for some time until the Crees were persuaded to break camp by two mounted police who had boldly ridden into the hostile encampment. Shortly after this incident, Piapot and his people moved to the reserve they had been allotted in the Capel Valley. While I think it is wonderful that the town has this monument to honor Cree Chief Piapot, I feel it tells a cleaner, family-friendly side of the story and leaves out this fact. To quote an article from Medicine Hat Cowboy Life, the mounted police at Fort Walsh, 55 miles away to the west, were called to try to move the chief. When the two mounted police arrived, they gave Piapot 15 minutes to take down and move his teepee off the right-of-way, or else, but the chief still refused to move. The two police circled his teepee with their lariat ropes and drug it and his belongings through ashes and dirt off the right-of-way. So no, the Cree and their chief Piapot were not persuaded to break camp, they were unlawfully forced out. Defining the Cree encampment as hostile is in poor taste, as they were justified in being upset, and Chief Piapot was defending his land. He knew what the train station meant for the future and was justified in his fear. All this to say, I think it's great to have a monument honoring Cree Chief Piapot, but let's tell the true story of the brutal actions of the mounted police and their treatment of the Cree people. I think this article from the Piapot Prairie Trails accurately sums up the current state of the hamlet. Piapot was a briskly growing village at one time. It thrived on the excellent CPR service from east to west, but after World War II, the CPR pulled its service. The Maple Creek School Unit grabbed the high school, the bank walked off, the lumberyard slipped away, and the local telephone exchange was promoted to swift current. But Piapot folks are doing what they can to survive. They sold shares in order to have a Piapot general store. Their empty telephone office is now a public library connected with the regional library in swift current. In place of a bank, they had the credit union 2 days a week. Though the churches are closed, worshipers go to Maple Creek for services and join their organizations. There is still a local hospital auxiliary working within the Maple Creek Hospital. The school has 50 students, the community college is active, and 4-H pin stickers are still going strong. The cemetery is well kept, and the Piapot column in the Maple Creek News lets folks know that Piapot has a social life to be envied. Each week has a full schedule. Piapot is more alive than the people who claim it isn't. Welcome to the time-lapse portion of the episode, and the rest of this video will follow your typical City Skylines formula, time-lapse footage with commentary talking about what we're building. I'm looking for a lot of feedback on this episode. Do you like the idea of this series, Tiny Builds? I really enjoyed it, and I think there's a lot of room to do stuff that's truly unique to the City Skylines genre, especially being able to video interview or audio interview some of the people that reside or work for the cities that we'll be recreating, and give a little look into the city from their perspective, whether that be people that are historians or just people that are locals and knowledgeable about the towns. And then I can chop it all up and give you that little history lesson, and then we dive into a normal, time-lapse and build. All the save games will be available as well, so I'm figuring out, I'm hoping to have this one out, so check out Paradox Mods or the link of the video description. I'm hoping to have the save game uploaded for this one when the video goes live. You will need a ton of mods. My mod list can be found in the Discord, and you're also going to need the Real Vision decals, which can be found. There's a video on my channel breaking down all of that. So let's talk about the build, because now we're getting into the fun stuff. The road layout's been placed, and we're starting to detail up the RM building, the Rural Municipality of Piapot building. And they had this cool little, or like this trailer that was just sort of parked by a bunch of piles. And I don't know what the piles were. But I figured, okay, well, we can recreate this, yeah? Because again, this is like, it's still a detailed series. I'm a detailer. I love detailing. You're here for detailing. And functional. It's functional detailing. You know, we still do play the game and make the city function. But you're here for detailing. Now, with a series like this, that's why we're kind of focusing on, you know, it's called Tiny Builds. We're focusing on the tiny, tiny towns of Canada. And I'm still going to dabble in detailing. We're not just going to place the road, span the buildings. Here's Piapot, Saskatchewan, you know. You know me. I'm going to detail at any chance I get. Which does mean that I think we'll see. For now, I'm able to keep one video a week. But we might have to chop up, and the videos come out when they come out. There's a lot of work that goes into this series, a lot of research, contacting the cities, trying to find people that I can talk to about the history, people to interview for the videos. So this whole Tiny Build series, maybe we do one of these videos every 2 weeks or something like that, and then we can intertwine the regular uploads of Grand Durand in Alberta. But I'm curious to see how this does and what people think of it, because, you know, now it's your normal City Skylines video, but there's room for growth to make this a little bit more unique, which I think we've done well with today's episode. So we placed the buildings, and this one here I found out is, when I was initially placing it, I was like, oh, this looks cool. Went to Street View and found out that that is the fire hall of Piapot, Saskatchewan. And it looks like it's still active, as I'd mentioned, like it appears to be, that we went over the history lesson. But really cool that we have a building that we can replicate, and that's just an industrial building there. You see me filling in the two, I almost called them lakes, but I guess they're like, they're definitely not a lake. They're like little ponds there. And then making the roadway here, which is identified as an actual road, but it is very much so more of like the grassy, you know, kind of farmland road that you drive trucks and tractors through. And then we're going to come in and detail up the fire hall here. With the fire hall detailed, we need some power lines, and the power lines are kind of all over the place in this town. And I removed a bunch of the vanilla stuff from roads, so you saw me there adding the street light to it. And now we're coming in with the net links to make one of the paths. This almost like, you see this a lot on Strodes with paths like that. And so I come in to make that look, and it's really cool. I believe those are by Crypto Gamer. That sidewalk net lane is so useful for small towns and Strodes. And then I found this awesome asset. We removed a bunch of the stuff off of it. Perfect small town building from, that's just vanilla European residential. And it works great. Then we come in with one of my favorite foliage tricks, which is the dead foliage. So that's a dead flower bush, I believe, and you sink it into the ground for dead grass, and then you sink in a dead oak for this like sort of overgrowth, weedy look that you would have seen in the Grand Durand episode, detailing out the suburban school. You're going to see me using lots more of these net lanes and that grass overgrowth to give them that sort of overgrown look there. This building here is what was the old post office of Piapot, which is this gorgeous Western building with the red paint that you would have seen when we showed off the post office building. So the building beside it was actually the old post office. And now they have a new building for the Canada Post in the town of Piapot. And we do something really cool here. So we're going in, we're removing all the stuff off of it to make it fit this more, like, you know, we're in a town with a population of 40 people. This place is really small, right? So to make it capture that look, remove everything off of it, and then in my decal pack, you have access to Canada Post decals, and look at how good the logo fit over the vanilla logo. Like, how sick is that? That building looks so close to the one in Piapot. I was really, really pleased with how that turned out. So let's spam down some homes. We need tons of people in the city, and I think we actually beat the population. The goal is to keep the population similar. I believe that we end the episode with like 60 people, so we get a little bit more than what's in actual Piapot. And now it's time for the classic Canadian Moose move. the Royal Canadian Legion. So same asset using the vanilla static ploppables, put the name on the front there, and we're going to come in and add asphalt to the side. Now comes one of the very fun builds as well too. At the back of this building, you're going to see it a little bit later on in the episode, but we do something that I've actually had a lot of requests for. And then I'm going to come in with another one of those small buildings and a park that I saw on Google Maps on the side. Using this greenhouse asset that you saw there, that's supposed to be the curling rink area, as good as I could do it. But in the back, now, this is as close as you're going to get for now. We'll do more of this. Obviously, this is during summer, so it doesn't have ice or anything like that. But this is a good old pond hockey, Canada's sport hockey rink. It's saw one that they had at the back in this building in real life. I saw that it had one, and you know, Canadians and anybody that watches hockey, you know a hockey rink when you see it. So I saw it from above on Google Maps, and I was like, yep, I know what that is. We're finally going to do it because I've had so many people ask, Moose, you gotta build a hockey rink. So there you go. There's one, a super quick, small one for the small town that's done there. And for those that don't know, for something like that, because you're like, oh, well, it's concrete. Like, how is that hockey, skate and hockey? So a lot of times what you'll do, and this is what I grew up doing in Kamloops, is you pour water onto the rink and let it freeze overnight. And this is in the winter, right? When it's colder, it freezes overnight, and you go skating in a place that is normally, you do like a rollerblade there. So you do like roller hockey. Or you just do like normal street hockey there, where you're just running with your shoes. Again, some people will use rollerblades for it in the summer. And some of them get converted into like different sports areas there. You can play soccer or tennis or stuff like that. So let's go ahead and spam down some more foliage here and just kind of fill out the area. A lot of this is just, you know, different homes and open lots and, you know, abandoned areas, places where there used to be homes, and now as, you know, the town has sort of declined with the removal of industry leaving the town, you get a lot of those empty spaces. So to make these houses to really, you know, sell the look, because we don't have the houses the kind of way that I want. We don't have that big asset catalog from Cities 1. But removing the surfaces and removing the fences from it really helps give it this sort of small town look to it. And then, of course, just covering the area in foliage. Now you're going to see me come in with one of these surfaces. This is also a Real Vision decal surface, and I'm using that for these little empty plots, which they might be farmland. Some of them were attached to homes. Oh, and look at this. So we're going in to build the farms now. I chose the one plot that has 0 fertile land for a build. So I'm so sorry. The industry is not really going to benefit our city. As you see, we do have money on. The industry is really not going to do anything for us. I somehow, on the entire map here, chose the one plot that does not have fertile land. I can't believe it. When it comes to the farms here as well, too, you'll see me using wheat as the go-to. It's Saskatchewan. Wheat farms all day really kind of made sense for a build based in Saskatchewan. With all the farms added there, it's time to come in and add even more houses and fill in some of the empty spots here. And then I'm going to place that decal down there. That decal is for, there's a bunch of these empty lots that have sort of just concrete on it. So I found this really cool Real Vision brick decal that I used to sort of replicate that. And then we come in with that other decal for the roads there. But this specific lot had a trailer parked on it. So I assume somebody's renting out the spot. And it's right beside the Pink Church in Piapot, which is a really cool building. I forgot to color this church pink. That's my bad. I don't even know if you can recolor that building. I should look into it and see if we can. But it's the closest thing I had to a church, so I placed it. Obviously, it doesn't capture the like old white church. And then we're using the I believe it's a crematorium building. It looks great as sort of like the public school to replace it. And this one also works great if you're building your own small towns for visitor centers. It's a great asset for that. We use that in the winter build of Stony Creek. So here it fit the bill perfectly for the old public school of Piapot. A few more homes here to fill the city up, and as you can see, we surpassed the 40 population that is current in Piapot, and we are up to 54 and growing, steadily growing too. Putting in the final houses there, another decal for the abandoned lot, and now comes the memorial. Not memorial, the monument for Chief Piapot, as well as the Piapot, made out of rocks, the Piapot town sign, I would assume it's called. But this will be the final sort of build here for the episode. So let's get this added, and I'll meet you all in the live play showcase to show you all our version of Piapot, Saskatchewan. So here we are in the town of Piapot, Saskatchewan. I'm going to take you around to show off the build, and I hope you enjoyed this new segment on the channel. This was so much fun to recreate, as well as all the researching that went in and the people that I got to speak with for this video. It was a really, really fun time, and expect a lot more content sort of like this where we can dive into the history. And this is probably the most I've ever built. I mean, we built an entire town. We built this entire town in one episode. Yeah, this is without a doubt the most that I've ever built, while still maintaining a level of detail that I'm satisfied. Obviously, I'd love to come in and go a little bit heavier on the detail, but I really like the blend that we got here, and it's drawing from a lot of my inspirations in detailing. Like, one thing that I see a lot of from the creators that inspire me is detailing the things that matter, such as this Canada Post here, by adding the pathway that's out front, adding the Canada Post decals there, a couple trees by the side, the pathway that cuts through, and then that pathway also too. Like, this net lane pathway is so good. I love that. And this building too even kind of has that almost from this side. Love the decal bleeding. Great. But it gives this kind of, yeah, that fits the vibe so well of the town that we were building. I wish I would have used that home a little bit more than I went really heavy on the ranch homes. I mean, they're great. They're fantastic for this build, but I went pretty heavy on them. Went pretty heavy on it. But then we've got this sort of main street here, what would have been or used to be, similar to main streets that you see here. And it looked like, too, that there used to be a train station sitting right around here, too. But sadly, all of that is gone. And I don't think trains stop here anymore because there's no industry for them to stop. Like, there's nothing, no grain silos, no nothing for them to stop. We've got the saloon, and it doubles as a gift shop, and then doubles as a, saloon, gift shop, and places to stay. Hotel, motel sort of kind of vibes. And this asset was perfect. This fit the town so well. Like, look at those. Look at that vibe there. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's great. And then the empty sort of lot behind it there. This whole little Main Street area turned out well. And this was a lot of fun building out the grid layout. The grid of Piapot is really kind of fun. Like, it gives you a good idea of how you can sort of break the grid, right? You had this highway that's going to do what highways do. It's curvy, warvy. And then you've got the main grid branches off of that, right? What would have been like an old sort of, I'd imagine, like prairie trail kind of road vibe that now became a highway. Of course, when they built the Trans-Canada Highway, you had that connection direct there, right? So, and then the grid follows this road up here, which is a lot of fun. And of course, you know, got that main, this is a lot of fun to put together. It's just a bunch of rocks, but really, really cool. I like that. And then the fountain worked really well. Obviously, the actual one is like a proper monument and not a fountain. But, yeah, this worked out really well. Really, really like the look of that. And then I used this texture surface for some of those plot colors that I saw. It wasn't that same dry color that I was going for, but it was close enough. And then one of the trees, when it's dead, it turns into an autumn tree. So we have this nice little lovely orange foliage growing throughout the town here. But yeah, look at this with these like single plots out here, single homes. Like, that is looking so good. And then the farms sort of encapsulating the area there. The main area here, too, put a lot of effort into this one. This one turned out really, really well, too. I am so stoked at how this turned out. The RM of Piapot, number 110. And then we've got that the little garage that we saw in the back there. Some more empty lots here. And, the two, they didn't show as much water, but, you know, I detailed it as best I could. There's this road that sort of cuts through. It's like a grass kind of road, so I tried my best there. And then it looked like there was two separate sort of ponds there, and we don't have reeds, so I tried my best there to capture kind of that reed aesthetic down by the water. I think it turned out really nice. And again, this is not meant to be like a perfect one-to-one. The road layout itself will be one-to-one, and then we're going to take artistic freedoms, because it's a city builder. I don't want to be locked into one-to-one to create our version of the town while sharing the actual history of it. Of course, there's no churches, so I did, you know, sort of what I could do there with that. I wish I came in here and detailed out a little bit more foliage, but I'm glad that we captured the RV that is parked on this empty sort of lot space there. I think that's really cool out behind behind the church there. And then the former, it was like this building here was like a music studio thing, music retreat. And unfortunately, it's no longer that. But there's a gorgeous building there with some beautiful trees around it. It really stands out to me in the skyline. And then, of course, we've got the fire hall here. The Piapot, my apologies. The Piapot Fire Hall. And, yeah, this was really cool. I was stoked that we had an asset that really captured it. The look of that, I think that turned out, like, that's so cool. This whole build is awesome. The save game for this, you will need the Real Vision decals, but the save game for this, I'm going to upload these publicly, so this won't be like a Patreon exclusive one, just because I think it's fun to share, or I think it's important, I should say, to share the history of these towns, and I don't want to limit that behind a paywall. So if you want to come and explore Piapot, Saskatchewan, or my version of it, you want to maybe change some stuff to make it more real or destroy the whole thing and mess around with the grid, this will be available on Paradox Mods when this episode is live. There's a whole ton of mods you're going to need for it, and Real Vision decals. If you'd like the full mod list, the full mod list can be found in the description of this video in the Discord. I've made an entire channel dedicated to it called Mod List. Has all the mods for it there. So, yeah, go check that out. But, yeah, this was the overview. I think we covered all the little things I want to show off. Oh, yeah, over here, too. This is a little cool area with, like, that small built-in. Like, look at this. This area is really alive, eh? Lots of, well, I guess, like, lots of kids going to the playground, which is awesome. So there's the playground. And then this is supposed to be the, this is the only asset I could find that worked too well for it. That's supposed to be the curling rink. But we did get the asphalt surface, which would pour water on it in the winter, let it sit overnight, it freezes, and this becomes pond hockey. So I think that looks really cool. Like, when you zoom out, there's these little things you can do that are just iconic. Wow, the RCMP are really, they're coming in. Hey, couple, yeah, okay, something happened. But you can play some pond hockey on there, so I'm stoked with how that turned out. And, like, just look at the vibes here, too, when you come down. Especially with some of these buildings where I removed stuff, but they still park. So he's like parked off in what would still be his lot. But yeah, these vibes down here, and this, like the overgrown pathway to the stores there. Oh, that turned out so well. Yeah, this feels awesome. This feels like a really cozy vibe. But yeah, I want to hear from you. This is a new segment on the channel, new series on the channel. I want to hear from all of you. Did you enjoy this? What did you like? What didn't you like? What did you wish I did more of? All of it. I want to hear your feedback so we can make this a better series. I think it's something cool that I haven't really seen other channels do, and I'm hoping to have proper interviews with people in the future for episodes, whether that be a video call or just an audio interview while there's time-lapse building in the background. So yeah, that's the plan. We're going to interview the people from there so we can get proper history from them and hear from the people that live in these towns about what makes them special, why they're living there, and learn some things along the way for it. So super excited for the series. But again, this whole series is going to be built around your feedback, so I would love to hear from you in the comment section of this video. Let's head to the intro.
Headed for the riverside, around us fuss and fight. Patrolman, he walked by, asked me where I'm going. Said if the sun set on me there, I'd never make it home. He said, don't go downtown tonight, there's trouble on the rise. The Batman in the shadows, and they're bound to take your life. If you mind to ramble, I'll tell you how I do. Keep your money in your pocket, then the razor in your shoe. Slipping silent through the creek, the hounds to lose my scent. I went up a tree and I watched them turn, wondering where I went. I take a rest, I hold my breath, I let it simmer down. I climb too high in my wandering eye, spied the lights of town. He said, don't go downtown tonight, there's trouble on the rise. The Batman in the shadows, or they're bound to take your life. But if you mind to ramble still, I'll tell you how to do. Keep your money in your pocket, boy, and the razor